Every now and then in my streams, people come almost looking for permissions of using certain technologies, right? Last night, like in many streams past years since I'm streaming, I have a feeling people come to streams to almost get a permission or confirmation that if the language they're using, is it good enough? Is it fast enough? Is it cool enough? Is it modern enough? I think the amount of influencers, YouTube influencers, Twitch influencers, Medium influencers has reached such a huge point in the programming community where it's genuinely becoming dangerous, especially for junior people, to actually make any technical decisions because everybody's following their Twitter heroes, as I call them, their YouTube heroes, etc., etc., etc. I think what has been lost from the engineering community overall, from all parts, especially in the JavaScript community, in the web communities, is there's a huge absence of engineering approach, of factual research, of anything like that. And people are, lately, I think past couple of years, this has gotten a lot worse. People are making decisions based on their people they're following, based on the random articles they're reading on Medium or elsewhere. And I think this has really gotten to a point where even I wanted to record a video about this. So as I said, every now and then people come to my stream and it's like, hey Alex, what do you think about PHP? And it's almost as if they are expecting me to bash on it, to say how terrible it is. And I've got this question asked, past year about nearly every language, because when you go to YouTube, when you go to a lot of these Twitch streams, right? There's so much, there's such a lack of maturity of developers. There's such a huge lack of a reason that every single one of them is almost like constrained by some sort of idea that in order for me to exist, I have to hate on certain things and I absolutely have to sell and support certain things. And of course, this is to a huge degree true, because you literally have content creators whose whole content is based around selling specific language and then selling courses off of that, so it's for their own gain. And this is, of course, this just business world, right? It's just the malicious intent there to bash on everything else is what worries me really a lot. If you go to YouTube, if you go to any platforms out there, you will notice a huge influx of, oh, why web developer sucks, why React sucks, why C# sucks, why this. And it's just a terrible thing, because imagine you're just out of university, you don't know what the hell is happening. How come that suddenly everything is terrible and everything sucks and everything is... And then, people come to my stream, this is one of the most common questions, like, yeah, but what about the performance? Would you trust me if I tell you that for more than a year streaming and probably having, tens of thousands of developers passing by, when I would ask, all right, so you're talking about performance, which performance did you face? So can you tell me about, you're talking about the API, oh, Node.js is slow. All right, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but was it slow for you? Did you actually face performance issues there? And the answer, I don't think that once for the whole year I ever got anyone in the chat actually come up with what is it called? With some argument on, hey, actually I did face it, this is what we did, and it was just a bottleneck, we failed, right? So there's so much of this chatter around, just people randomly, right, reading some article on Medium or having their Twitter god sharing something, and then just repeating like parrots. Just the whole community gets very cancerous, very, very malicious, right? And I don't think this is healthy for programming community. So I would like to say to all of you, content creators and developers alike, stop with this stuff, right? Most of you actually have no idea what we're talking about, right? Most of you who bash PHP, you never actually used PHP in your lives. Most of you who speak about performance issues, let's say in the API, you never actually built a website that has 10,000 requests, in a single day, let alone 100,000 requests per second. So let's try to be a little bit pragmatic. Let's try to be kind. Let's try to show some sort of self-awareness, self-critique, because the whole ecosystem right now is genuinely filled with hatred of some sort for the self-interest, and also just it almost feels like we're creating those sort of I don't know, like cults of, I'm a this type of developer, so I have to hate on this, and I'm a this type of developer and I have to hate on this. Instead of that, let's try to actually focus on things that we actually know, understand. If we don't understand something, we should actually be humble with ourselves, and instead of hating on it, we should try to understand it and put in the research and time, and then evaluate certain things when you actually have enough of expertise, instead of just bashing something out of out of no experience, no facts, nothing. I've been to several streams of streamers just silently observing what they do, what they're saying. And recently I listened to one streamer just saying, oh, Vue.js is so much better than React. And I mean, this is not even, we shouldn't even get into that discussion that is irrelevant, what is better or worse. It's just the way that person says that without any context, right? Like, this is not, we're not comparing colors here. We're not comparing burgers and you say, this burger is tastier than this burger. It's just a vague statements like that. X is better than Y. I mean, why? Why is it better? Why is it worse? So we brought ourselves due to incompetence mostly, to the point where we claim these things without no context. Right? We just say, oh, X is bad. Well, why is it bad? Well, I read a Medium article from Malcolm XX91, right? So this is so unacceptable for any serious professional, any serious engineer, any engineer who actually builds product with the customer in mind, with value in mind, with hiring in mind, with et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's just ridiculous. Then you have these people who are talking about, oh, why do we even need frameworks? Why don't we just write plain language? Why don't we just write plain JavaScript? The person who says this generally is a person who never actually worked in their lives once, or who never been actually part of building a complex web application today, and only such person can claim this. Can you imagine a world where you join a new company and now every single company has their own framework? Can you imagine the onboarding in that company? Can you imagine how long would it take to onboard a person? Well, we have our own router. We have our own state management library. So those things are to such a degree so ridiculous that sometimes when I read these comments on YouTube, when I hear some of these streamers talking about it, I genuinely don't know if they're saying this out of complete incompetence, or that they're just blind to certain things, or maybe they haven't even put 2 seconds of rational thinking to realize why these things exist. Why do we need frameworks? Why do we incorporate patterns that we have learned about past 30 years into some box so we can protect ourselves? Does that make hiring easier? Does it make building teams easier? Does it make fixing things easier, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? So generally, I would say we need to stop with this. I think it's not just stupid and crazy, but it's also dangerous for new people coming to the industry, because you can see whenever I have my own stream on Twitch or YouTube that people are genuinely confused. They're coming there, they're almost scared about asking. It's like, man, I'm not using this latest language that came out 3 days ago. Is that cool? Am I cool? What if I'm using a technology that's 2 years old? Am I even cool, right? So try to avoid influencers, try to avoid people who are telling you in a very vague sense why something is bad, and always do your due diligence and check actually where those people worked, which products did they build. You can always, for example, I always put my my money where my mouth is. If you want to see who I am, check my LinkedIn, check my experience, and check what I did. And I suggest you to do the same with everyone else. If somebody is telling you, oh, PHP sucks, or I don't know, Ruby sucks, or Python sucks, try to do some research about them and actually see if they've ever used any of these technologies, if they've ever actually faced these issues on their own. Because if they haven't, their opinion is meaningless. They're just parrots. They're just repeating something that somebody said somewhere, and this becomes a cult, almost like a cancerous cult, like I said, that it just doesn't stop. It just accumulates, it expands, and this is what generates content. I mean, if you look at the most content creators, if you're not bashing something at least for X amount of seconds or minutes in a video, are you even a content creator, right? So anyway, I just felt it was time for me to record this video, because for a year now I have people who are almost scared of asking a question because they think that something that they ask about is going to be bashed. I hope you can become more rational. I hope you can make technical decisions based on reason and facts and actually your own experience and experience of people you know, rather than basing it just on this cancerous community that just doesn't want to stop doing this ridiculous stuff. I wish you guys best. Be smart, be pragmatic, be engineers, not developers, and I'll see you in another one. Peace out. Alex out. Bye-bye. Ciao.